So I almost lost my marriage, my family, my life because of alcohol. And if that would have happened, my daughter, soon to be daughters, would have grown up in a home that I was the cause of breaking. And for me, that was my rock bottom. I was acting and doing things and saying things in a way that was just plain disrespectful to my marriage, and my wife had had enough. But today, almost a year and a half into being sober, we have completely rebuilt. And at the time of filming this, are expecting our second daughter literally any moment. But none of that happened by accident. So in this video, I want to give you 3 things that helped me quit drinking and become a better father and a better husband. Now, the reality of my situation was I wasn't getting arrested, although I probably should have 100 times with the amount that I admittingly drove when I should have not. I wasn't losing my job. I wasn't physically hurting anybody. Basically put, I was a functional alcoholic. But to my wife and my young daughter and my family, I was simply emotionally unavailable. I would get defensive when confronted about my drinking, and I was just emotionally checked out. But the night everything came crashing down and my wife had had enough and my actions had caught up to me, I realized I was one decision away from losing everything. And this wasn't because I was evil or I was a terrible person. It was because I was numb and I was completely selfish. So the first thing that changed everything and really helped me quit drinking was I accepted I was an alcoholic, and I stopped arguing with myself and making excuses for why I drank the way that I did. For me, the excuses of, oh, I'm not as bad as this person, or I can control it, or, oh, well, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Those were all out the window at this point. I think that rock bottom looks different for everybody, but I realized that rock bottom doesn't necessarily mean the moment when your life starts falling apart. To me, it's when you finally stop defending what it is that's causing your life to fall apart. So if you're watching this and you're wondering whether you have a problem or if you should quit, just ask yourself what your drinking is costing you. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about things like trust. I'm talking about things like respect, stability, being able to be present in your own life. This brings us to the second thing. So after I had accepted that I was an alcoholic and made the decision that I had to stop or everything was gone, the next step was realizing that I needed to start rebuilding trust in small, somewhat boring, but very important ways. See, quitting drinking wasn't really what fixed my marriage. The consistency in which I showed up because I wasn't drinking, that's what did it. I had to become reliable, both as a husband and as a father. I wasn't not showing up to things I should have or running late or anything like that, but I had to stop using alcohol as an excuse or as a crutch to why things like that would happen. I couldn't be defensive anymore. Whenever my wife would get on me about my drinking, one, I was probably drunk at the time or at least on my way there. And I would just get defensive and say, like we talked about earlier, oh, I'm not that bad. It could be worse. Look at this. I'm not in jail. I still have my job. I got defensive about it. Having to rebuild trust, that defensiveness had to go out the window. It couldn't be a part of our life anymore. I also had to really start listening to her instead of just reacting to everything she was saying. I had to realize that she was half of this marriage too, and that if I wanted to be the best husband I could, I had to listen to her and listen to her with real intent. And I had to start becoming predictable in a good way, not in the ways of, oh, I know he's going to be unavailable tonight because he's going to be drinking, or if the baby wakes up in the middle of the night, I can't rely on him. He's not predictable. He'll probably be passed out. See, I don't think sobriety is some just dramatic, magical things that happen. Instead, it's just a steady progression of rebuilding that trust and showing up for the people who need you every day. So doing this over time, my wife just didn't see the fact that I had stopped drinking. She saw that I was actually changing and that I was different now. I still was me. I still have the same pitfalls. I still have the same character defects, but with being sober, I'm able to face them head on. I don't hide behind the drinking. I don't use the drinking to just push it down. I deal with it and I get better. I'm able to see things through a clear lens. It's not fogged by alcohol or indecisions or the fact that inhibitions just go out the window when you're boozing. So doing these little things, putting in the little work every single day, this is how I rebuilt trust and started to rebuild my marriage. So once me and my wife were on a good track again, that trust was being rebuilt. The third thing I did to help me quit drinking was I redefined my identity as a father. The biggest shift in all this wasn't just removing the alcohol from the situation. It was me making the decision of the type of man that I wanted my daughter, now soon to be daughters, would watch growing up. Because I realized that one day they'll choose partners. They'll choose husbands or wives or whatever, but they will choose their partners. And their sense of normal will come from me. I started to realize that if I had not stopped drinking, I would have taught them that numbing stress is normal, that distancing yourself from your problems rather than dealing with them in a healthy way is all normal. I would have taught them that tension between a marriage is a normal thing that happens, and that the way you handle things is you just stuff it down. You act like it doesn't exist, and you do this through alcohol. And once I got sober, I realized I did not want that to be the blueprint for the way they live their lives. But today, I know they see something different. I know they see that they have a present father, that they have a stable father, that they have a calm father, and a father who treats their mother the way you would hope to see your mother treated. They see somebody who I would like to think steps up to the occasion when the time is needed, that they don't run from it, that they don't drink away their problems and bury their problems and just act like everything is fine underneath. They face it head on, and although it may suck, it may be terrible, it may be uncomfortable, you get through that, you do the hard work, and you show up for yourself. So yes, I hit a rock bottom, and I'm just beyond grateful that I did, because it forced me to cut out the bullshit that I knew was ruining my life, and it forced me to become intentional with how I move going forward in my sobriety. So if you're watching this and you're out there and you're close to losing something that matters, don't wait till it's broken. Your wife is watching you. Your kids are watching you. Even when you think that they're not, you can cut out the alcohol. It is completely possible to recover from this. Become somebody that's reliable. Become somebody that's stable. Whether you have a wife, whether you have kids, putting down alcohol was the best thing I ever did for myself. So if you're out there and you're struggling with it, just know it's completely possible and it does get better.